One of the causes of World War I was the complex web of alliances between countries. Once the fighting started, these pacts pulled them, one after the other, into the war.
Have you ever made a pact with someone?
Of course I've made a pact with someone, like my best friends, you know. Secrets, it's a big thing between girls. I've made pacts with a couple of friends not to tell people they have crushes on.
I made a pact with my friend that we were going to succeed in school and go to an Ivy League college.
You have to sign the honor code for the school, and if you go back on your agreement with them, then they can kick you out.
I have made a pact with my brother when we went to college that we wouldn't grow apart because I wouldn't be seeing him a lot.
If I get all A's, I get a dirt bike.
We sort of have an unspoken pact with my parents that if we get good grades, we get to choose a restaurant that we want to go out to.
I have a pact with my parents. Basically, if I don't do well in school, I get in trouble.
In 1914, Europe had been at peace for 40 years. Industrial development had allowed Berlin and other cities to enjoy massive growth. But economic rivalries, imperial competition, and rising nationalism were spreading across the continent, and militarism, the glorification of the military, was growing. The great powers expanded their armies and navies. The result was an arms race that only aggravated the mistrust countries felt toward one another. Distrust of each other led the great powers to sign treaties pledging to defend one another if they were ever attacked. These alliances were intended to create powerful combinations that no one would dare attack. Gradually, two huge alliances emerged. The Triple Alliance of Germany, Italy, and Austria-Hungary, and the Triple Entente of France, Russia, and Britain. The growth of these rival alliances increased international tensions even more. How did World War I start? These tensions erupted with the assassination of Archduke Francis Ferdinand of Austria during his visit to Serbia on June 28, 1914. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Because the alliances were in place, a chain reaction occurred, and the major powers began declaring war on one another. Germany invaded France through neutral Belgium. Because of this action, Britain joined forces with the French against Germany. The Western Front was born. Why was it called the Great War? Newspapers soon began calling it the Great War because it was the largest conflict the world had ever seen. The French mobilized 8.5 million men, the British 9 million, the Russians 12 million, and the Germans 11 million. It lasted for 4 horrible years. When the war started, people were full of enthusiasm and patriotism. Young men rushed to enlist, and crowds cheered them. But their enthusiasm was short-lived. This was a new kind of war, far deadlier than any fought before. On the Western Front, the warring armies made a vast system of trenches stretching from Switzerland to the English Channel. Between the enemy lines was no man's land, an empty stretch of ground filled with bomb craters and barbed wire where no soldier could survive. How did technology change the war? Military tactics had not changed for 100 years, but weapons had made the leap into the 20th century. There were new inventions like machine guns that could fire hundreds of bullets in a minute. Now a single defender could wipe out a whole troop of oncoming soldiers. Artillery could bomb enemy encampments from miles away. The new factories back home could pump out new weapons at an unheard of rate. And now science, previously seen as a sign of progress, was used for killing. Chemical warfare was also put into use. Poison gas, capable of blinding or even killing, was now part of a soldier's arsenal. What was life like in the trenches? Soldiers in trenches lived a primitive life. They fought, ate, and slept in the trenches. There was no proper sanitation. Fear, hunger, thirst, and cold were constants, and death was all around. The huge losses of life and the prolonged nature of the war had a profound effect on the soldiers and the people back home. No one had predicted how devastating the war would be, or how it would change the way the world looked at war.